So I was very high on the idea of a Ready Player One movie. I was very excited about it, especially once I heard that Steven Spielberg was going to be involved, was going to direct it.
Ready Player One made our number 5 spot. It wasn't in my top 5, but it is in my top 10 movies of the year for sure. I really enjoyed it. It just didn't do as much as for me as I thought it was going to do. The trailers were great. I will say this is one of the most entertaining films of the year. It is definitely in the top 3 most entertaining films. For me, it just wasn't one of the best films.
Yeah, I'm the only one who has Ready Player One ranked on our list. The only reason it is in our top 5 is because of me. Everyone else has a little bit lower. I have it high because one, Spielberg is one of my favorite directors. I think he's that for a lot of people. He brings pure Spielberg magic back in this movie. What he's able to do with not just characters, but his surroundings, the setting, and although from what I've heard is it's different from the book, he's able to bring those highlights of the book to the movie and maybe a little bit different spin that may fit a movie and this present day moviegoers a little bit better. The action is great, the visuals are fantastic. And like we've mentioned, it's a pure entertaining movie.
Oh man, the depiction of the Oasis, it was different than. I didn't love that much. It was okay. Just for the purpose of the film, it worked. But it's a much more, obviously, in a 350-page book, it's a much more vast and descriptive place. I don't know if you really got a sense of what you could really do in it, but like I said, for the purpose of the film and for the time frame that they had, I mean, I think it, to a degree, it worked.
A lot of people don't know Ty Sheridan or Olivia Cooke because they're both pretty new in the film world. Ty Sheridan obviously plays Cyclops, the new Cyclops in the new X-Men movies. He's still very fresh. He was in a couple other small indies. I thought he did a really, really good job as Wade Watts. I don't know if he was given a lot to work with because it was more so inside the Oasis and he was pretty much just voicing or maybe mocap depending on what they did. But as far as him as the character, he fit the build and he did a good job when he was really given something to do. As far as Olivia Cooke goes, yes, she may not have been in the film as much as Ty Sheridan, but I've known her since her days back on Bates Motel when she first showed up, and this girl is going to be a superstar as far as acting goes. She's phenomenal.
The action inside the Oasis was pretty phenomenal in my opinion. I really loved the ending. I mean, you had pretty much every single character you can imagine coming across the screen. Loved the race car scene in the very beginning. The action itself, it was enjoyable. I had a good time watching it.
Probably the greatest scene in the whole entire movie is the Shining scene when they go to the house in The Shining. I could not believe it. This scene was amazing. It was not only hilarious, it was kind of scary in the way that they handled it and the way the characters were reacting to it, and especially, I forget the character's name, but the character that hadn't seen The Shining yet, and when he sees the twins, that scene was incredible, and I just think the way they handled that so well. I don't know if that was in the book, but I'm so glad they incorporated it in this movie. That was one thing they were able to do. Even if it wasn't in the book, they were able to take things from pop culture and incorporate them. So that's one thing they did very, very well.
As far as being in the top 5 for our list so far of the year, I would have to say, you know, it probably deserves to be number 5. I personally didn't have it in my top 5. It was my number 6. But if it's that close, then yes, it deserves to be in the top 5.
I think the hype for this movie was a little bit too high. You had the book, which is very beloved, and then just the idea of the book, for me, never read the book, but hearing the idea of the book and what it was about, I was like, this movie's gonna be amazing. With Spielberg directing, the trailers were great, everybody was hyped, so I think that anticipation level was a little bit too high, so I was going in expecting really good things, and the reviews were really good for it too, so I was expecting to love it more than I did, but I really liked it.
My expectations were, I think they were met because, like I said, I knew that it would be different. They changed a lot more than I thought they would, and they had to. Ernest Cline, who wrote the book, he did co-write the screenplay, so a lot of the changes I'm sure were his, and they kept true to a lot of the stuff, to I think the spirit of it, the competition itself, of trying to find this Easter egg. It's there. You get that feel.
A prediction of where I'm gonna have this movie for the end of the year. It's tough because obviously we kind of know what's coming out in the next couple months. We also don't know a bunch of indie movies that are coming out as well, and that always hits our list by the time November or December rolls around. As far as what I know right now, I'm gonna make a bold statement and say it's gonna stay in my top 5 of the year, and that's a big bold statement because there's so many movies coming out. But that just shows how much I actually enjoyed this movie and how many times I can go see it over and over again. Like, I cannot wait for it to come out on Blu-ray because I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna watch it over and over and over again and just get excited with what it brings to the table. And actually, it even has me thinking about reading the book, which I'm not a book reader. And so, yes, I do think it'll land in my top 5, but I definitely think it will land in my top 10 no matter what.